In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
The wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome to the...
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Rod coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust, at least not yet. It is still live free or die. It is Tuesday, August the 11th in the year of our Lord 2015. The number that you can call this evening if you wish to join me here live on the program is toll-free 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. And talk to me about the things that I'll be discussing with you tonight. I know one of the subjects hot on everybody's lips is the Megyn Kelly and Donald Trump battle. Now, I know there are people out there trying to speculate, well, who's going to win this one? Who's going to, well, yeah, I know Megyn has got the megaphone because, she's on Fox and, she has her own show and she can say whatever she pretty much wants to say. And then again, we know that the Donald is obviously the Donald. He's big, brash, bold, knows how to get publicity and knows how to get, knows how to build a brand. His name is a brand. By the way, I would, one of the things I have been studying, I'm going to digress here for a second, folks. Why? Because I can, because it's my program. But just always, whatever I have to tell you, even when I digress, there is a point to my digression. So, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time or who haven't been following me for a long period of time, I digress quite often. But the digression always helps me make my point. So just sit back, relax, pay attention. And for those of you on the left, if you pay attention and actually keep your mouth shut for a little while, you'll actually learn something from me. Just thought I'd put that out there for you. But Donald Trump is a master of brand building and brand recognition. He has got one of the most valuable brands on the planet. Now, understand, the brand is his name. Trump. I mean, his brand has been, his name has been, well, his brand too, has been on all kinds of stuff. I know we like to think it's just, there was a Trump champagne. Not too long. Now, I think it was limited production because this, like I said, this guy he's a master of brand building and he wants people to understand and realize that when his name gets put on something, it's top of the line luxury. So it is never going to be the cheapest stuff out there. Even if he just puts his name on a tie, it isn't going to be the cheapest tie in the rack. Now, this is, he likes top of the line luxury types of stuff, and he puts his name on luxury types of stuff, and he always has since the late 80s. And he has got one of the most recognizable brand names out there, and he's a real estate mogul. Look, when the man puts his name on the top of a building, it is almost guaranteed to sell out. If it's going to be, a building of condos, and the Trump puts his name on top of that building, it is almost a guarantee it is going to sell out. Why? Because people have come to recognize the Trump name and the Trump brand as being top of the line, as being ultra luxurious, as being top quality. People do not get gypped when something has a Trump name on it. So he's very good at building and maintaining a brand. And I've been studying him a little bit on how he built his brand, his name. And I'm look, this is what you do in life when you want to become a success. You study people who have gone before you, who have gotten to places that you want to be. Now, I'm not saying that I want to be a multi-billionaire real estate mogul, although if that's the direction I wanted to go, I would damn sure get there. Because I follow and I study the people who've already made it before me, and I learn what their mistakes are before I make them. So I don't make them. And so I'm studying Trump and how he's building, or how he built and maintains his brand, which is his name. And quite frankly, I'm putting it out there. I'm going to be frank. That's what I'm doing with my name. Now, are you going to see the Eccles name on top of skyscrapers all over the world? I'm not that into real estate and real estate development, so I doubt it. I doubt that I'll do that. But when it comes to building something and becoming a success at something, I always try to look at those who've come before me. And sure, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to imitate, but not copy. See, there's a difference. Like, the people that in this industry, broadcast industry, people who I am trying to emulate, but not copy. Like Rush Limbaugh, the daddy of all daddies when it comes to, I probably shouldn't say daddies, but the king of all radio talk show host kings. Rush Limbaugh. Sean Hannity. Even to a certain degree, Michael Savage. I emulate them, but I'm not trying to. Can you imagine if I tried to copy, the top 5 syndicated talk show hosts? This would be one confusing show to follow. But I can take what I believe are the best parts of each of them and emulate them and make them my own, so I can give you something totally unique and something totally different. And I think I do that very well, and I'll continue doing that. But this goes the same for, when you're trying to run a political campaign. Obviously, Trump has to build his name recognition in the political sense. But he already has a big name out there, so he's not starting behind the 8 ball. But by the same token, Megyn Kelly is no slouch when it comes to name recognition either. But Trump is a little bit bigger than she is, even though she's got the forum. But see, now I told you all that would kind of run together, didn't I? All you do is just pay attention. And here it comes. Here comes putting it together. They're not saying they're sorry to each other for what they said to each other during the debate and after. And frankly, I did not expect either one of them to apologize. And that's a good thing because, they're supposed to be more conservative. And conservatives, they, just because you say you're sorry doesn't really mean that you are. And I'm tired of all this mamby-pamby. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. Oh, bullcrap. Megyn Kelly meant to go after Trump, and she's not apologizing for it because she meant to do that. Donald Trump meant to fully and completely and thoroughly insult Megyn Kelly, and he's not backing down from that. They both did what they fully intended to do. So why should they apologize for being themselves? Megyn Kelly can't help herself. I mean, if you've ever seen any of her news programs, even the Kelly File before the Kelly, well, she was on some other Fox programs before the Kelly File. She was very aggressive. You can agree with the questions or not. You can agree with her tact or not. But she's always been, as far as from the day that I can first remember, a few years ago, she's always been an aggressive type of reporter, I guess. Is that what you call them? I wouldn't say that she's a journalist. I don't know if she is or isn't. I really don't watch her that often. But she's always been very aggressive. And frankly, if you're going to go after the Donald, who is also very aggressive, very brash, very big, and very bold, you've got to be a bit tough and brash and bold yourself. You can't be wimpy. And frankly, Megyn Kelly, you can say whatever else you want to say about her, but that woman ain't wimpy. She is not a wimpy woman. Absolutely. And I know some people are going to say, well, are you calling her masculine? Absolutely not. And Megyn Kelly's well, I shouldn't say feminist, but she's feminine. But she's a tough feminist, if that's conservative feminist, if that's what you want to. Well, she's not. I don't know her personal politics, but as far as her reporting and what she does and says, I wouldn't exactly classify her as a full constitutional conservative. She might be, but just based on her TV persona, I would say that that's not the case. But maybe she tries to be a bit more fair and balanced, and that's why she comes across as being a little bit more less than constitutional conservative. But if she's gonna, she's a tough, brash woman. She's rather easy on the eyes too. At least I think so. And I'm not a huge fan of blondes, but I think she's easy on the eyes. And that's not being sexist. And I know some of you lefties out there, political correct idiots, are probably going to say that, oh, that's being sexist, right? No, it's not. Megan, I'm a guy. She's a girl. I can recognize beauty when I see it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. She's a pretty lady. She really is. And, she's got some brains in her head that she uses. Kind of strange for a blonde. Aren't blondes all supposed to be ditzy? Ditzy blonde. Well, you know what? She's on the right side of the political aisle, so therefore she's not going to be ditzy. It seems all the blonde ditzes are on the left side of the political aisle. Hey, Democrats, I'm sorry. You guys have you've got the lock and key, it seems like, on ditziness. Really, it really is. But they're not apologizing to each other. I don't expect them to. In fact, if they did, I would probably respect the one who apologized less. And I kind of respect them both more for standing their ground. You can say what you want. Maybe Megyn Kelly was wrong. I don't necessarily think so. And, they have this, there's always this notion, well, she just said it wrong. Well, that's a bunch of bullpucky. Why do you have to look? I don't tiptoe around issues. If somebody doesn't like the way I said something, well, for the most part, if it's not a personal issue, 101 personal, it has nothing to do with, the profession or anything, business. If it's just personal, then that's a different story. But if it's anything but personal and somebody doesn't like the way I said it, I just say too damn bad. That's not my problem or my issue. Just like if I don't like the way somebody else says something and it says something in a professional, non-personal manner, that's not necessarily their problem. That's mine. Well, if they want to be a little bit bigoted, that's a different story, but that's personal. That's not a professional type of thing. But I don't get into this, well, you got to say you're sorry every time you offend somebody. Oh, hell no. I'm not going to apologize for it. You know what? I've always looked at it this way. I have always said, if I don't offend somebody, I am probably not doing my job. Plain and simple. If I don't offend somebody, I'm not doing my job. And I don't go out there to try to fully, try on purpose to fully offend someone. But I know that my beliefs and what I espouse is going to offend a lot of people on the left. Oh, it's going to offend a lot of people in the center. And I don't apologize for that. If you are offended by what I say, well, if I'm telling the truth and I'm coming from a place of historical fact and logic and you are still offended, that's not my problem. You got to check yourself on that one. So I think Megyn and Donald checked themselves, and they said, you know what? They said to each other, not my problem if you're offended. And yeah, they both were offended by what each other did and said to each other. Absolutely. For them to say that they're not, they were offended. Probably rightfully so. But that's the game of politics, and both of them are grown-ups, and both of them are they're tough, and they can handle it. And you have all these people running around out there trying to defend Megyn or defend Donald. And I'm like, you know what? They don't need your defense, really. Just as the comes across from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air all those years ago, mind your business. That's all. Mind your business. Because, those two will straighten out whatever differences they may have. And maybe they won't. But they don't need us out there to defend them. Not these two. Absolutely not. They really don't. Anyway, folks, we got a lot of other stuff to discuss this evening. Got some Hillary stuff. Yeah, we're going to talk about some Hillary stuff. Scott Walker's is, speaking of offending people, Scott Walker and Hillary got into a little tit for tat today. We'll talk about that. But there's something that's kind of interesting that I heard today about Rick Perry. Now, Rick Perry has stopped paying his staff. Now, if he does that, that means only one thing, that his campaign is running out of money. And he's running out of money because nobody's backing him. And nobody's backing him, and I've said this, is because he's gone into this wimpy, mamby-pamby, moderate type of position. And he was constantly trying to, well, this is not how you act as being president. You're not presidential, Donald Trump. And he was ripping into Donald Trump left and right while ignoring the polls of people, people supporting the Donald and liking what he said. And that was a death knell for, I got to tell you, Rick, I'm not so sure that Rick Perry, and I'm probably going to get some hate mail for this, but I got to tell you, I'm not so sure. I don't know why Rick Perry got into the race. I don't think his heart was in it. He always looked like he was tired. I mean, and not from running a very tough, hard campaign. He just looked like he was tired. He looks like he's tired. Like he just wants to retire. And get out of the public limelight or what have you. Maybe just do a few speeches here and there, possibly earn $500,000 like the Clintons per speech. But I just don't think that his heart was in this campaign. I really, really don't. Now, I could be wrong. But just by listening to him and seeing his facial expressions and paying attention to some of his appearances, when he's out in public, the man just looked tired, like his heart was, and his responses to Trump, that really wasn't Rick Perry 4 and 8 years ago. I don't know where this Rick Perry came from. That's why I say I think he's just tired. I think he's just politically and mentally fatigued. And I am sure I'm going to offend some people out there, but you know what? Too damn bad. That's not my problem. I call it like I see it. Now, will this mean the end of the Perry campaign? Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Will Perry be the first one to drop out? At this particular juncture, I am not going to try to determine that. Because it really doesn't matter who drops out first. It really doesn't matter who drops out last. Because we're going to end up with a candidate that we end up with, no matter who it is. We're going to have one. So it really doesn't matter who leaves the race first. Now, whoever leaves first may shock some people and may not shock others. But there's a couple of, I'm not going to say who they are. There's a couple of candidates that I would not be shocked if they were to leave first. And I got to tell you, well, I can tell you one. I already said it. I think Rick Perry is on that list, is on that short list of being first to leave. And again, like I said, I could be wrong. I just think the man is tired. He doesn't seem to have the same fire in the belly that he once had. And so I don't, with the campaign, maybe he had to, because with campaign laws the way they are, and what you're supposed, how you can get your hands on the money for personal use after after you no longer campaign, maybe he had to run and use up the money somehow. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what was in his mindset. But there is something out there from the Perry camp. What's actually happening is Opportunity and Freedom, I guess, is a PAC, steps in to carry Perry's payroll load. And this is actually from the IJReview.com. Rick Perry's campaign to stop paying staff, but a super PAC will pick up the slack. Welcome to the Wild West of presidential campaigns in 2016. Well, this is what McCain-Feingold gave us, so it's not really the Wild West. Now, the pro-Perry super PAC, Opportunity and Freedom, will run ads and a ground game for Perry so his campaign can be mean and lean. Whatever that means. You can't, if you're going to win something, you can't be lean. You can be mean, but you can't be lean. But, candidly, says Austin Barber, a super PAC advisor, he told IJ that candidly we saw the campaign finance report a couple of weeks ago and knew, he said, we sort of read the writing on the wall. We knew that we had to move forward and do our own thing. So they're going to be out there campaigning for Perry, as it were, for Mr. Perry. Poor guy. But you know what? I'm sorry. I think he's mentally, he's probably not physically fatigued. He's fairly well, he's 60s, right? Fairly young guy. I just think he's mentally and politically tired. I think he's mentally and politically exhausted. And I don't think that, he was really into running in the first place. And maybe people talked him into it. Hey, run, Rick, run. And you thought, okay, I'll give it one more college try. But giving it a college try really doesn't mean that your heart is into it. And he'll be back, but somehow I doubt it.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just
can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution. Takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
We'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Just in across my newsfeed. Oh, by the way, if you want to call me here on the show, the number is toll-free 603-835-3224. This just in across my newsfeed for being reported on by townhall.com. According to Matt Vespa over on Town Hall, Hillary is to hand over her private email server to the Department of Justice. After previously refusing to turn over her private email server to an independent third party for analysis, Hillary Clinton plans to hand it over to the Department of Justice. Now, I thought that it went missing. Weren't we told that it went missing? It was destroyed or something like that? But anyway, Clinton has instructed her attorney to hand over her private email server and the thumb drive of all her work-related emails to the Justice Department in an effort to blunt an expanding probe into the use of a private email account. Now, one has got to wonder if this, in order to blunt all of this investigation, expanding probe and all that kind of stuff, if that was really the case, why didn't she just do this months ago? What was she holding on to? What was I don't. Maybe the Democrats aren't as fast as the Iranians, and she couldn't erase everything and clear everything that was damaging to her in 24 days, and she just needed 24 months or something. But it's just a logical question. What took her so long? Why did the American people and the political system, have to go through all of this? Was she trying to reach some sort of backdoor deal with the Obama administration? Hey, she's probably coming. Hey, Barack, buddy, I'm gonna finally give you this thing, but you've got to do me a favor and all the bad stuff, just hush it up and cover it up so I can keep running for president. Okay? Well, Hillary, I'm not gonna say that I really like you. But, if it's going to do our party or make me look bad, then I'll help you out because I can't look bad. So if you're going to make me look bad And if there's something in there that is going to make me look bad, and give people more fodder to try to impeach me, then yeah, I'll help you out. We'll help each other. How's that? Now, unfortunately, that may mean that you get to come in after me, and I don't want that, but because I'd rather have Biden. But Joe's a good boy, and he'll fall on the sword. He'll understand because it's about my legacy. It's about me, and if your server is going to help me, then I will help you. So turn it over. I wouldn't say that is not far from plausibility. In fact, it's very plausible. There must have been some negotiations going on in behind the scenes. Because why would this woman hold on to this thing after it was known what she did for so long? She needed an ace. She needed something to negotiate with. Don't doubt me, folks. Look, now I'm sure some people are going to think that now we're going to get to the bottom of this because now Hillary's turning, look, if she's voluntarily turning this over, you better believe that this machine has been whitewashed somehow. And that stuff that she really, most of the stuff that she really doesn't want you or anybody else to see is not going to be seen. And, look, there are, even with modern, computer forensics and things like, is it called computer forensics? Hard drive for whatever. We have their software, powerful software and tricks of the trade that can go into a hard drive and recover data that has been erased. And to a certain point, it can recover even data that has been thoroughly erased and written over. But there are methods. Again, there's other software out there. There are methods that basically whitewash, whatever on the hard drive that you want whitewashed, and that can never, at least with today's technology, can never recover it. And sometimes, if you have that many emails, this is where time comes in. If you have that many emails on your server, it takes people time to go back and read all of those and try to determine which ones are good, which ones are, so-so, maybe, give them a little bit of piece of red meat and, then they'll eventually go away. And which ones are, oh, hell no, nobody else can see this. So they had to go through these, probably had to go through these emails one at a time in order to figure out which ones were that already weren't already known about, because they can't erase something that somebody already knows about and has already spilled the beans on, because then people know, well, geez, you erased that. But so they had to do things carefully. I'm just speculating on what they were doing with this machine all this time. They had to go in there and try to find out, where, and again, they also had to look at, well, what other machines across the planet might some of these emails appear on that our government can get a hold of, because again, you got to be careful because if we find out that that she's destroying it, well, this is going to be put in some really big trouble if she's destroying evidence. So they have to, when I say whitewash, they have to clean everything that is harmful to her that they can possibly clean and get away with. That's what I mean by whitewashing. They can't clean stuff that's damaging to her that people already know about or can be recovered by some other method. They know that look, they're not that. Hillary may not be the brightest, bulb in the chandelier, but she's got people that support her and work for her that are pretty damn smart, and they can figure this stuff out. But that takes time. Now are you starting to see? Now, again, this is speculation. I don't have an inside scoop, but logically speaking, in order to whitewash something with that much information, it takes time. And that could be why she didn't want to turn it over. because she needed the time in order to do what was necessary. Now, I could be wrong on it. I don't know. I'm not within the D.C. I'm not within the Beltway. I don't keep my, I'm not, a reporter looking into this thing. I don't have inside sources. Maybe I should start cultivating inside sources. I don't want to be beholden to anybody. That's for damn sure. But sometimes, having an inside source is probably not a bad idea. So maybe I need a couple of inside sources, but I don't want to get to, hey, Rod, who's your source? Because the last thing I want is, a bunch of guys in all dressed out in tactical gear busting down my door trying to find out what who I know, why I know, where I know, and all that kind of stuff. And trust me, they would, when somebody wants to protect their secrets, they will go to any length that they have available to them and use anything that they have available to them to do that. It's not that I'm afraid of them. I just, if I don't have to encounter them, then I won't. But in any event, I'm just speculating as to why it is taking her so, and if it's done right, it's going to be very difficult to detect that she eliminated stuff that was damaging to her. If it's done right, it's going to be very difficult to detect if they even detected it at all. I know some people are saying, well, that's just not possible. Yeah, anything's possible. It's really, you can say it's like a photoshopping your email. Basically, is what she's out there. What she was probably doing was photoshopping her email. That's the best way I can explain it for people to understand. What do you mean, Rod? What? Photoshopping. Oh, okay, I get it now. So that is the case. Did she, I should say, she's going to turn it over. Did she Photoshop her server? Plain and simple. Anyway, that was just comes across my newsfeed, but that isn't where I wanted to start off. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is drawing some big crowds out there. Bernie Sanders, I know a lot of people are saying, well, this is kind of interesting. How is he doing this? And they're talking about, he's getting all this support and this is really good for the process and not good for Hillary, but blah, 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 not good for Hillary and all that kind of, and I got to tell you, look, this guy, as Sean Hannity puts it, he's an old curmudgeon, but that's not the bad part. There are a lot of older guys, what is Sanders, 78? He's up there. There are a lot of old. Well, I don't know. I would tend to think that John McCain is an old curmudgeon. There are a lot of curmudgeons out there. So there's nothing necessarily wrong with being a curmudgeon. You're just old. Happens. If I live to see 78 or 80, I will probably be referred to as an angry old black man. And I probably will be an angry old black man. That's a ways away, but who knows? Maybe when I'm 80, I will be that way. It just depends on what happens between now and then. So there's nothing wrong with being an old, I'll probably end up being an old curmudgeon. There's nothing wrong with being a curmudgeon. Not really. It doesn't mean that you have the wherewithal and the temperament to be in politics anymore, but other than that, there's nothing wrong with being a curmudgeon. The point is that we have all of these people that seem to be supporting Sanders via the thousands of people that show up to his events. And some people are trying to make the correlation, well, oh my God, this is terrible. because this is how Obama went. Obama started gathering these huge crowds, and he ended up being elected. Could this be what Sanders is doing? Oh, no, this can't happen. I don't think that that's a possible. Is it plausible? Yes. Is it possible? Probably not. Look, if Bernie Sanders, the problem I have with all these people showing up to a Bernie Sanders event, listening to this guy talk, I don't care if they're young, middle-aged, or old. It doesn't matter. All these thousands of people. My problem with this is that it's scary simply because of the correlation between Sanders and Obama. And it has nothing to do with Hillary. Now, I'm really going to tell you this. Bernie Sanders' popularity really does not have a lot to do with Hillary Clinton. It really doesn't. Now, are the Democrats looking for somebody other than Hillary? Because, some of them think that Hillary might be damaged goods and might not be able to go all the way, might be indicted or go to jail, what have you. That is a possibility. Yes, that is there, and a lot of people are probably thinking about that. But even if there was somebody else in the race who was of, quote-unquote, Hillary's caliber without the baggage, recent baggage, Bernie Sanders would still be igniting the number of people and crowds that he is currently getting. And this reflects and is very similar to Barack Obama. This is the scary part. Now, this does not mean that these people are going to follow through and pull the lever for Bernie Sanders for president. However, the very fact that they are showing this guy love and support and attending his events, and that these are the same kind of people that supported Obama, basically it is. It's because the reason why it's scary is simply because these people are supporting or showing support and love for somebody who very much professes socialism. Obama does not deny that he's a socialist. He doesn't deny it. And Sanders, he doesn't deny it either. In fact, he wears that title with a badge of honor. So we have all these people who are not necessarily in support of Bernie Sanders, the person, but they're in support of his ideas, which is socialism. Because this is, you want to talk about being extreme lefty and being a total socialist, poster child. That's Bernie. You think Obama's damaging to the Constitution? You wait till you get a President Sanders. It'll be, and because he's an old curmudgeon, it'll be if that's possible, Obama on steroids. Oy vey, how dangerous could that be? But the problem is that you have all these people out there who are supporting that message. That's the scary part. It's not that they're supporting Bernie. It's not that now that looking back, because they're supporting Bernie, it's not because they're supporting Bernie or they were supporting Obama. It's because they were over Hillary, by the way, who this time around, because last time she didn't move farther to the left. This time around, she's like, well, I'm going to, head Bernie off the pass, and I'm going to move farther to the left. So this whole notion of a socialist message, that's what all of these people are latching onto. Social class warfare. The rich versus the poor. The middle class is left to fend for themselves in the middle. And that's why they're disappearing. Most of the middle class is not getting up into the rich category because of all the regulations and taxes and policy that prevents them from doing that. They're moving down the economic ladder into the poor sector. So now there's this huge class warfare, which is nothing more than a socialistic and a communistic tactic. And these people have fallen for it. They love the socialist message because they believe that, it's the rich fault that everybody is poor. When if you ask them the basic question, when When have you ever gotten more money in your pocket when somebody has taken a rich person down? When somebody has taxed the rich more? When somebody has made the rich be less rich? When has that put more money in your pocket? Has it ever? And nobody can say, well, yeah, I got more money because the rich have got less. Nobody could ever honestly say that. Well, I mean, I suppose those people on welfare who are receiving their welfare checks. So, yeah, I get my welfare check every month. I get my food stamps. So if that means that they got to tax a rich person so I can get more in food stamps and more welfare benefits, oh yeah, I'm for that. Uh-huh. But other than that, nobody ever gets to, even the poor and on welfare, it isn't because they tax the rich more that they get more money in their pocket. Nobody can ever say, honestly, that they have improved their economic life because the rich got hammered on taxes. So if that's the case, then why fall for this? Well, because it sounds good to everybody on that side of the aisle. They like to hear, yeah, take them down a notch, Bernie. You go get those bankers, you go get those rich people, you go get those colleges, you go get everybody who's got money. Get them all. Take their money. Well, what if it doesn't help you at all? I don't care as long as they get what's coming to them because they just bad. They bad. And they all need to go to jail anyway. So if we can't take them to jail, we just take their money. Well, it's not going to help you at all. I don't care. Because that's the whole message. There isn't, look, we're going to, Bernie's out there, and now Hillary's out there doing the same thing, doing a Bernie, talking about, well, we're going to make college affordable. Now, at first, Bernie was out there, we should make public colleges free for everybody. Now Bernie's out there saying, well, I will work hard to make every single college free. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want my government paying the tuition costs for Harvard or Yale or Brown or Princeton or Dartmouth or any of those other private institutes of higher learning that have godly high tuition and room and board cost. Now, also understand that they're also talking about tuition. They're not talking about room and board. And in some places, room and board is almost as much as the tuition is. Now, where was I seeing this? There's a college that had their room and board cost was nearly $18,000 a year. Now, $18,000 just for living on campus and eating their food. That doesn't even include the tuition and books. I mean, no wonder it costs so much to go to college. These colleges are raking, private colleges are raking it, big education, that's what I call it. They're raking it in. And of course, if government starts, sure, government's going to limit how much they're going to pay, and these colleges are going to have to capitulate. No, okay, so we can't charge $50,000 a year, so we're only going to be able to charge $45,000, but that's okay. And we, the taxpayers, will foot the bill, and they think and everybody thinks, well, they just going to tax the rich to get free college. Well, you can't tax the rich forever. If you keep tossing on, what is it? 200. Was it $350 billion or $380 billion in additional spending in Hillary's plan? That's just for public school. Now, can you imagine for private? Can you imagine private? What it would cost for if they wanted to try to bring in private schools under this? Government will pay, because all you see from the left is these countries have free education. Well, what they fail to tell you is that. Yeah, their nominal tax rate, income tax rate, is 60, 70, 80%. Literally. Somebody's got to pay for this stuff. And it's going to be the taxpayer. But everybody's out there just loving the message that Sanders has. And the message is a message of socialism. Plain and simple. It's a message of socialism. Nothing more, nothing less. You you can't get really bent out of shape because Sanders is drawing kind of the same kind of crowds in the early days as Barack Obama started to draw. In fact, in some cases, he's probably drawing more of a crowd. But it is, it is what it is, and that's the Sanders plan. Socialism. And you have to understand that that's the dangerous part. These people are out there supporting socialism. Yeah, we want government to take care of us. Yeah, we want bigger government. We've already got big government. We got huge government. But they're out there saying we want bigger government. We want government to be more involved in our lives. We want government to help us with our lives on a daily basis. We want government to tell us what to do. Because, we're too stupid, too inane, too inept to do for ourselves. That's the message of socialism. And I know there are a bunch of people out there that are trying to say, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, as well as, the millennials, they can't seem to determine what the difference is between modern Democrats and socialism. And everybody's, talking about, well, why can't they talk about the difference? Why can't they name the difference? The problem is that there is no difference. The modern Democratic Party is for the most part, nothing more than the Socialist Party. They're socialists. That's why they can't tell the difference between a Democrat and a socialist, because the Democrats are socialists. Look at Bernie Sanders. I know he's supposed to be independent, but he's caucusing with the Democrats. He's trying to get the Democratic nomination. He's a Democrat. Plain and simple. So there is no difference between Democrats and socialists because they're one and the same. And this is what people are going out there. Now, if Hillary decides to be more of a socialist and come out being an unadulterated socialist, then I guarantee you her numbers are going to start going up too, and so is her support.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. And again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Opposed to the system that is already in place. In other words, when you have people start supporting something other than liberty and freedom and a democratic republic, you're going to end up with some clashes. Now, throughout history, we've had super intelligent people throughout our history that tell us that, after a certain period of time, nations, be they city-states or whole countries, they tend to gravitate from the position of freedom and self-responsibility to that of being more dominated by a dominating type of governmental system. And we can see it throughout history that often, and this is even biblical. I don't know why people seem to think that we can, I'm not being pessimistic here, but I just want, see, if you understand what's going on, if you know the truth, now I mentioned this yesterday, if you know the truth, you will know how to make the necessary corrections that will actually work. And this is the truth. Humankind, human nature has been that when they get absolute or total or, freedom, that eventually there comes a time when generations past who first fought and got that freedom, that posterity will begin to demand somebody else take care of them because they get spoiled. And frankly, look, we're not, well, what are we, like third into the third, fourth generation since World War II? Yeah, World War II veterans, they're basically great-grandparents now, and they're dying off like nobody's business. We're losing them fast, simply because they're just old, late 80s and above. But they understood what freedom was about. Pretty much just like those during the World War I generation and before that, because there was always something that they had to fight in order to preserve liberty and freedom. Now, since World War II, this country really has not been affected from any outside force to force us to take a look and appreciate freedom. So we've gotten to the point now where we're now down to, to the millennials, the fourth generation away, fourth or fifth, from World War II generation. They don't understand sacrifice because they really never had to do it. So when something, and they've gotten to this point, because of our educational system, everybody's special and you're super special and you deserve this and you deserve that. Even if you didn't work a day in your life, you still deserve this. This is what they're being told, from kindergarten, preschool on up through high school and college. So, this is what they're being told. This is what they've come to expect, and they're not getting it. So now they're saying, well, I want this and I want that. And they're looking at their parents who worked very hard throughout their lives, and many of them have probably, they probably started out buying that starter house, and then they moved up to the middle house until eventually, kids get in high school, and they have the big, 3,000 square foot house with 2.5 baths and a 2.5 car garage with 2 new cars in the driveway. And these kids are growing up and they see this. They forget all the hard work and sacrifice that their parents made in their early days. And all they see is what they are now in their teenage and college years. And they say, well, I want that 3,000 square foot house and I want it now. And they can't have it now. So they think, well, hey, Mr. Government Man, you need to give me some stuff because I deserve it. And one of the biggest things that we know throughout history is that a free people, a democratic type of people are in trouble. Their style of government is in trouble when the generalized population, when the bulk of the people, the majority of the people realize that they can vote themselves money from their treasury. And they do that by devolving from a free society to a less free society, i.e. they go from a form of democracy to a form of socialism, to a form of communism. We're on that downward track right now. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to end up there, but people have to understand that this has happened throughout the history of mankind. The Bible even talks about it. And even the ancient state of Israel, when God said, well, I'll be your leader. And they said, no, God, you give us, you have your rules, but you give us too much freedom. We need a king here that can take care of us. And God warned them, you don't want a king. It's not going to be a good idea. And they said, but God, we want a king. Everybody else has a king. We need a king. We need a king to take care of us. Well, I'm your king. No, we need an earthly king to take care of us because you're not always here, God. We can't see you. We need somebody to take care of us right here that we can see and go to every day. And God just said, Fine. You don't want to listen to me. It's a bad idea, but here, there you go. There's a king. I'll be proven right. And sure enough, God was proven right. You get a bad king or two, get a bad president or two, you get a bad potentate or two, and everything goes to hell. And this is kind of the thing that we're dealing with. We had a bad president, Carter, and we got a good one. And we got a so-so one in Herbert Walker Bush. And then we got another bad one. People look back and say, well, he was fun though, huh? Yeah, he may have been fun, but he was rather damaging. And then we got another so-so president. I know some people are real big George G.W. Bush fans. I am not a big G.W. Bush fan, but he was a hell of a lot better than Al Gore, President Gore, or President Kerry. I can tell you, 100 times better than either one of those guys. But his first term, he was not my first choice. But again, he was 100 times better than an Al Gore. And then we get, a president who's totally devastating to our way of life in our nation as our government is set up. And now we have all these crowds of people who are embracing socialism right out in the open. Obama kind of, he didn't admit out in the, brazenly that he was a socialist. Bernie Sanders does. He's not hiding from it. Not at all. And people are embracing his message. So that's what I'm talking about. And that's the truth that you need to know and understand so you can effectively deal with it and do something about it. It's not a hopeless situation. Not by a long shot. Not yet. We're approaching that point of no return, but we haven't gotten there yet. So we still have time to reverse course, or at least change course. Anyway, welcome back, my fellow Americans and fellow freedom lovers all across the globe. It is I, of course, your lovable host, L. Rod, and I'm still coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Tuesday, August the 11th in the year of our Lord 2015. We're in the second hour of this wonderful program. I think it's wonderful. And if I say it's wonderful, then it is. The number that you can call this evening if you wish to join me and speak your mind live is toll-free 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. If you're a liberal, go ahead and call. I'm not going to hate you or dish you if you're a liberal and you call. I'll put you, I'll give you a full segment if that's what it takes. But in any case, Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton has gone out there, and she's gone. It looks like she's picking a Republican candidate on a daily basis to attack. And this time she picked, she keeps it. I think, was it yesterday? She kind of meekly attacked Donald Trump. Well, that's probably the wrong person that you want to attack, because Donald will just unload all barrels on you. If I look at it this way, Donald Trump is a battleship. And, he's got those 3 turrets of 16-inch guns, as well as all the smaller guns. And if you come trying to attack Donald Trump will more than likely just unleash every single gun on the Trump the battleship Trump on you. It's just the way he. Americans they seem to be liking that in him. Again, brash, no holds barred, no hold back, and just unload. I do the same. In fact, I would just continually unload on Hillary Clinton. And you cannot leave out Bernie Sanders. I know, everybody thinks, well, he's not the leading guy and blah, blah, blah. Just unload on the Democrats, period. That includes Obama. That includes, Kerry, Secretary Kerry. That includes, Schumer, and that includes, the one-eyed man from Nevada, Harry Reid. Just constantly unload all your guns on those folks. Just keep them on the defensive. And every time they try to go on the offensive, you shoot them down. I mean, you just unload on them. And that's exactly what Scott Walker did to Hillary Clinton, because Hillary was out there talking about how Scott Walker, doesn't really care so much about higher education. In fact, she's out there, touting her college plan, to put it in quote unquote in reach of everyone. The new college compact, as she's calling it. And she went after Scott Walker basically to say that, Walker's state was terrible for higher education and for its citizens of Wisconsin. And Scott Walker just unloaded on her. Yeah, hey, Hillary, my state is so bad that I have frozen in-state tuition rates for 4 years for college while you were charging $225,000 or more just to show up at a college campus to give a 30-minute speech. Boom. That's what you got to do to her every single freaking time. She opens her mouth, you put a shell in there. Now, I know somebody's going to say, what do you mean? Are you advocating shooting Hillary Clinton? No, not with real, obviously, a battleship is shooting some big shells and it's not going to fit in her mouth, obviously. So I'm not advocating that you're actually shooting any type of real ordnance at Mrs. Clinton. I'm just, words. Fire words back at her. Words that are truthful. Words that can be devastating to her way of thinking. Just so people understand the differences and understand that she is just totally out there and wrong on just about every subject you can possibly think of that has to do with what we're going through as a nation right now. She's just wrong. I don't know actually where Clinton is right on any of the major subjects that topics that face our country right now. I don't think she's on the right side of anything. I'm trying to think of one right now. There isn't one. But hey, it's but you got to keep the pressure up. You have got to keep the pressure up on Miss Clinton, because if you don't, then she's going to be able to sneak in some stuff that can do, Republican candidates some damage and get people twisted in their thinking. They think, yeah, those Republicans are bad. But if you just take all you got to do, you don't even just take her record and keep firing shots at her. And then every time she opens her mouth, do what Scott Walker did and just turn it around back on her and fire it right back at her. Oh, yeah, huh? Okay, Hillary. Yeah, you think my state is awful for higher education and people can't afford it? Well, I've frozen college tuition for in-state schools for the past 4 years. So in other words, I've made sure that it isn't costing our students any more to go to a state school here in Wisconsin while you're out there charging $225,000 to these colleges just for showing up. Now, who's going to pay for that? Well, you're not going to make it up by selling tickets at the auditorium door. So it has to come out of what? The tuitions and fees that students are charged. And if I were a Republican governor of in your state, in a state school, if it's within your state constitution for you to do this, I would definitely make sure you put a cap on what state colleges can spend on having outside speakers come in. Because that $200,000 for a speech at a college? Who even thinks of doing? Most people, they charge maybe, if they're a big name, maybe they'll charge 30 or 40,000 or maybe 50,000, and most of that will go to some sort of charity. And a lot of times you'll see them give it, even liberals. Sometimes you'll see them give it back to the school for a particular program or something. But Miss Hillary, no, she takes it home to Bill and say, "Here, Bill, here's my contribution for this week." Because Bill's out there. Yeah, I charge $500,000 for a speech. I got bills to pay. I got to be able to fly all over the place on these orgy planes and orgy islands and all that kind of stuff. And I got to be able to go anywhere that Hillary goes, and Hillary's got to be able to go anywhere. I don't take her everywhere, but she's because I don't want her on the planes, but on the island. But other places that we can go together, we got to go. We got to go first class too. You can't catch us in coach. No, we got to be in first class or business class or something up there in the front of the plane, and it's got to be a big plane because we got to have room. I know it may cost a lot for tickets for a pair of us, but hey, and plus not to mention, we got to pay for our daughter, Chelsea. I know she's getting over $500,000 a year to help run our foundation, $600,000 to be exact, and she's got that $10 million spread in New York City for her and her husband, and my only grandchild. So yeah, we gotta, we gotta get this money because we got bills. I got 2 houses, 2 expensive homes and places to go and people to see and places to play. It's expensive being Bill and Hillary Clinton, I'm telling you. So I got to charge this kind of money in order for me to pay our bills. And Hillary, she's out there, she's got her own money, and she helps contribute sometimes, although she doesn't really need to because I earn so much. But, we put us together, we're a powerful duo. And I tell you, we're a money-making machine. We got too many bills. And now she's out there running for president. She got to be able to pay for some of that stuff too. Can't have everything coming out of the campaign fund because some of it's kind of private, and if you pay for private stuff out of your campaign fund, that's kind of a no-no now. So we gotta keep up our appearances and the things that we like to do. It's just, I gotta tell you, it's just fun being a Clinton. I'm telling you, it's really fun. It's expensive, but it's fun. So as long as we can pay those bills, and the way we pay those bills is by charging this outrageous fee for speaking. She gets $250,000, I get $500,000 because I was president. And of course, she becomes first woman president. Well, by the time she gets out, she could be charging more than me. Million. I'm not gonna complain. She gets $750,000 for a speech. I get $500,000 for a speech. Hell, with all the money that we've made since leaving the White House the first time, that'll be a cakewalk. That'll be it's chump change. I'm telling you, this is what we're doing here. It's because we want the big bucks. That stupid $400,000 a year salary, that ain't nothing. It's what you make after that counts. Because we still gonna have those bills after she leaves the White House. I'm telling you. That is the reason that they're just greedy. They're greedy. Now, yeah, like I said, whether you like the truth or not, I'm honest about it. There are plenty of liberals who give speeches in college campi all over the country who donate a good portion, or if not all, of their honorarium or speaking fee to charity or back to the college in which they speak in some form or another. But it doesn't appear that the Clintons have ever done that. And they charge an outrageous sum. So if I was a governor of a state, and if it was in the purview of my power of that particular state within the confines of their constitution, and if I could limit what a college can spend, I'll put a cap on what they can spend for a speaker, I would do that. Now, because I don't live in all 50 states, so I don't know how each state can possibly do that. But the governors of those states should know. But if I was Scott Walker, I'd be going back to Wisconsin saying, you know what? Why don't we just not only did I freeze tuition But within the confines of our state constitution and our state laws, I put in a bill. I asked for a bill that I can sign that would limit or cap, speaking fees at state colleges. Now, private colleges, you guys are private. You can, do whatever you want, obviously, and they do. But state colleges, we're going to put this limit on there. You can't be charging, our kids $500,000 or whatever it is, or $250,000 for a 30 or 40 minute speech. And I would like to see. I saw something. My newsfeed about Black Lives Matter trying to infiltrate the Clinton event here in New Hampshire, and the Black Lives Matter were shut out because obviously you can't ask Hillary a real question that's going to make her look bad if she answers it. So the only way you can prevent somebody from asking the question is you don't let them ask the question. And how are you going to not allow a question that is going to be asked that you don't want to ask? Well, you don't allow them into the event so they can get within microphone or earshot to ask the question. And that's what I'll have to look for. I don't think that is in my paper pile at the moment, but I will have to. No, well, I'll try and find it and bring it after the break. But look, when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to defeating the left, you can't be wimpy, mamby-pamby. All you got to do is just go after them. If they say something, then you just turn it around and fire all barrels, all guns on your battleship right back at them. Totally destroy their argument. Destroy them. Because after all, that's what they're trying to do to each and every Republican candidate. Now, they're all about the personal destruction campaign. So we got to do the same thing back, but better.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. Woo! There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And I have found the item I was looking for. Why and how? Well, simply because I am a talented broadcast professional. It took years to get to this level of proficiency. Just saying, it didn't happen overnight. This is no. I know a lot of people are probably out there saying, "Well, if Rod can do it, I can do it." It's not something you can do overnight. You got to practice. It's kind of like getting those nimble fingers and stretching your fingers in order to practice the piano, and you got to keep practicing all those keys. Same thing. You got to practice before you can actually get on the air. I'm just, it takes learning. You have to learn how to do all this stuff. And thus, when you've had years and years and years of learning and practice and dedication, then you too shall be a professional broadcast specialist, just like myself. Just saying. You can do it. You just have to be dedicated. But I know that there are some people out there, man, he's just really arrogant, isn't he, honey? They don't understand the nature of being facetious, but some of you will, and most of you that will be on the right side of the political aisle. Anyway, welcome back, folks. Again, the number is toll-free 603-835-3224 if you wish to join me here live on the program. Here's the story from IJReview.com. Boston activists who are part of the Black Lives Matter social movement. Every time I read that or hear that, social movement, it causes me to pause because it is some of the biggest BS that I have ever heard. It's not a social it's not a social movement. It is a social hijacking, and it is domestic terrorism. Yeah, I call it like I see it. Black Lives Matter are a domestic, nonviolent terrorist group. We want to call, if we're going to start saying everybody's a terrorist, well, yeah, for now, Black Lives Matter seems to be, they seem to be pretty much nonviolent, and all the violence that happens in certain places I don't think is because of Black Lives Matter. They may be instigating some of it. I don't know. I'm not on the ground in some of those places, but for the most part, especially when they're doing this type of interrupting, they're nonviolent. So they're a nonviolent terrorist organization. And, as many ultra-liberal left-wing groups are, many of them are nonviolent terrorist groups because they terrorize people. You don't see a bunch of, conservatives running up to somebody else's microphone and interrupting them and keeping them from giving a speech or doing whatever that they came to do. It always seems to be on the left. That's a terrorist type of tactic in my book. But anyway, so it's not a social movement. It's social terrorism, nonviolent social terrorism. And movement was the civil rights with Dr. Martin Luther King. That was a movement. This is not a movement. But anyway, I digress. Black Lives Matter social movement, social terrorist movement, planned to interrupt Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton at a New Hampshire campaign event earlier today, according to the New Republic, which exclusively reported the group's plan, which included the following question, because they wanted to ask her, they wanted to ask Hillary this question. Y'all see what I did there? I said ax instead of ask. Yes, I know how to pronounce ask, but it just emphasizes what I wanted to say by speaking in the urban colloquialism. Ask this question. The activists said they plan to ask let me reread that. The activists said they plan to ask several questions, including, can you give at least one tangible example of how you expect to reverse the health and human services disaster you orchestrated in impoverished urban non-white communities through the domestic war on drugs policy that you've championed as FLOTUS and as senator? Whoa. Now, you got a leftist group attacking a leftist candidate for, as they put it, white supremacy. And, Hillary's, she was out there before in her first presidential campaign saying, I ain't no ways tired. I've come too far. Well, I guess Black Lives Matter think you ain't come far enough. I probably shouldn't speak in that urban dialect. I could probably be construed as being condescending. But, and I probably should stop using big words like that. Yeah, I did have somebody once tell me that. Rod, you sound too educated when you use big words. You can't use big words. And all you're doing is trying to show off. Well, like show off what? I'm showing off that I actually got a halfway decent edumacation. Yeah, see what I did there? So I'm supposed to be ashamed that I actually got a decent education and I actually learned something. And I'm supposed to be ashamed of the fact that I kept learning after I got out of high school and college, and I continued to expand my vocabulary and I continued to expand my knowledge base in different subjects. I'm supposed to be ashamed of that? Well, I don't sit around thinking of big fancy words to say. I mean, I fully realize that sometimes I need to sort of dumb down my talk. Because a lot of people, especially younger generation, they don't understand. If you have a word that's more than 2 syllables long, they'll just look at you with deer eyes and go, "Huh?" But I don't try to sound over. I don't sound overly edgy. Look. You lefties out there who are in academia, you guys try to sound like you're overly educated. Yeah, now, of course, you don't say that you're overly educated, but that's exactly what you are because, I have a PhD in this and a PhD in that and a doctorate in this and a doctorate in that and I got a master's here and a master's there. Oh, yeah, in that final degree, it's just a little bachelor's degree. It don't mean nothing. You get that. You get that a lot. And I know I'm African American, so I'm not supposed to be that intelligent according to the left. I'm not. I'm not supposed to have a high IQ. I'm supposed to be I should be trying to perfect my rhyme and rhythm so I can be a rapper. And that's not, rapper is not, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Ria Linda, that's not the thing that you put around like a candy bar or something. No, I'm sorry, it's not a rapper anymore. You're a hip hop artist. I should be perfecting my skills to be hip-hop, I guess. But anyway, over the weekend, the movement's activists shut down Bernie Sanders' rally in Seattle, but the plan in New Hampshire was not initially as successful, according to CNN reporter Dan Marica. And this is what Dan Marica tweeted. He tweeted, the doors to Hillary Rodham Clinton, HRC. This is what they call it, HRC. She could be a hip-hop artist with the HRC. If somebody, I'm going to put out a request. If somebody can put the words of Hillary Clinton from her, Hillary Clinton, and put it into a hip-hop or rap song, I'd greatly appreciate it. We'll call her we'll call her HRC, Master HRC. They don't use Master anymore, do they? We'll put her and Iggy Azalea together. How's that? Now, the doors to HRC's event have been closed by USSS due to capacity per an aide. In other words, they're saying the reason why Black Lives Matter protesters didn't get in is because they reach capacity, which is not true. Clinton aide, another tweet from Dan Marica. Clinton aide confirms that an overflow room was set up at her Keene event. Unclear if Black Lives Matter folks got in. Evidently, they didn't. Now, Black Lives Matter Boston chapter said it made contact with Clinton's staff. Huge thanks to everyone. Tweeting about Hole Up Hillary, HOLLUPHILLARY, Hole Up Hillary. So they are working with us. Now, Clinton's staff went to meet with the activists, but pooled media will be in the room, I guess. So they'll get their opportunity, I suppose. But in any event, evidently they didn't get to ask their question. So that is the story that I wanted to bring to you about Black Lives Matter not being able to interrupt Hillary Clinton because she just wasn't gonna have any of it. Because her handlers they don't want her to have to answer a question that they don't want her to have to answer. Plain and simple. Hey, Seattle, from the Washington Times, Seattle, Washington. Now, this is going to piss off lots of people. But all I can say is don't live in a liberal city or a liberal state like this. But Seattle, Washington made it official last night, according to WashingtonTimes.com. They're trying to tax its way into a lower crime rate. Yes. Seattle has decided that in order to lower the crime rate in their city, they're going to tax potential criminal activity. And how do they end up doing this? How did they determine this? What did they decide to tax to try to prevent potential criminal activity and lower the crime rate? Well, the city council voted 8-0 to approve a bill that would impose taxes on the sales of both guns, as in firearms, and ammunition. Now, guns, they are going to add a tax of $25 per weapon. And ammunition, depending on the caliber, will be taxed an additional 2 to 5 cents per round. In other words, 2 to 5 cents per bullet. Again, depending on the caliber, with the money designated for research into gun violence and other anti-gun programs. So they want to tax people who want guns. You know what this is really going to do? This is going to drive everybody who wants to buy a firearm and their ammunition out of the city. It's not going to stop people from getting guns, either law-abiding citizens or otherwise. People who are looking to get a weapon for nefarious activity. I did it again. A big word. For people who are looking to do bad stuff, they're not going to bother to pay this gun tax. So even though this money is designated to try to get people to not want guns, because that's what anti-gun programs, that's what it's all about, kind of like anti-smoking. You know, they use in many states, and they use part of the overly high cigarette tax to fund programs that try to get people to quit smoking. Well, they're going to use these ridiculous taxes here to try to get people not to buy guns and not to want guns and to give up their Second Amendment rights, and to do research into gun violence. Why would a city want to do research into gun violence? They don't want to know the truth behind it. Real gun violence anyway. They don't want to know the truth that the vast majority of gun crimes are committed by criminals who did not obtain their firearm in a legal manner. So no manner or no amount of new laws pertaining to firearms is going to prevent the criminal from getting that firearm. And especially in this country, even if they ban look. Even when we had a so-called ban against, so-called assault weapons, criminals still got them. That's the dirty little secret. The only people who couldn't get new ones were law-abiding citizens. Criminals still got them. And which is why the police started stepping up the type of weaponry that they obtained, because criminals still had the powerful stuff and were still obtaining it and getting it, even though there was a ban on it. So this whole notion that there's going to be some sort of drop in violence because they're going to tax guns. Well, it's only going to it may prevent some law-abiding citizens from purchasing at least as many or as many guns or as many rounds as they originally wanted, because it's going to take money out of their pocket, or they're just going to abandon going to the stores in Seattle and possibly even in Washington and just go to Oregon or Montana or something where stuff like that is not as bad. And that's well, look, you're always going to have these liberal idiots who are going to want to try to tell you that they're attacking the symptom. The symptom is guns, having guns out there. No. That may be a symptom. It is not the cause. The cause are various. One of which is lack of opportunity driving people into crime. And if they're going to do crime, they want to do it as efficiently as possible while they stay alive and out of jail. So that means that they need to arm up. Yes, they don't want to tell you that or understand that or get to that point. Because if they understood that and actually emoted, or if they actually said that type of stuff, then you and I would, well, the left out there would definitely fully understand that they're on the wrong side of the whole issue. And many of them would probably drop the whole issue of wanting to take away our guns in the first place. Here's something from The Hill. TheHill.com is saying that Hillary Clinton would lose the swing state of Iowa. Yeah, I guess if it came down to what they're talking about is the election. If the election were held today, Hillary Clinton would lose the swing state of Iowa to several potential Republican opponents. Now, this flies in the face of Hillary beating all 20 GOP contenders for the presidency. All of a sudden, all of a sudden that's changed. So she would lose to several potential Republican opponents to a new Democratic-leaning company. The Public Policy Polling, PPP, survey released earlier today showed Clinton getting the worst of matchups against candidates of Marco Rubio, Scott Walker, Mike Huckabee, and Dr. Ben Carson. Now, the results are likely to be of particular concern to Democrats, given that President Obama carried the Hawkeye state during both of his election victories in 08 and 2012. Clinton is the dominant frontrunner in the race for the Democratic nomination, while Republicans are locked in a dogfight. Well, not really. Now, in other words, there's there are four contenders. And funny thing is that all four of those contenders are right now in the top 10, right? So, and this comes after the GOP debate, and you've got Dr. Carson in there beating Hillary Clinton in Iowa. Now, look, I'm going to have to. Well, I know it's just a stupid, silly poll, and it's still early. And, of course, it could go the other way really, really, really fast for Dr. Carson or any of the other candidates. But I didn't think, good old Dr. Ben would be up there. But evidently, Iowans like what Dr. Carson is saying and how he's saying it. Now, I would tend to believe that, again, this is a Democratic-leaning polling company, the Public Policy Polling company. I would tend to believe that there are other Republican hopefuls that would also give Clinton a run for her money, including the Donald. Now, because it's pretty odd that the top contender or leading GOPer would not be in this poll. So it really makes the poll kind of suspect. I'm surprised that they haven't. Well, because they've always said. The left has always said that Jeb Bush was our best chance of beating Hillary, but even though Jeb Bush was our best chance of beating Hillary, every poll that they did showed Hillary easily beating Jeb Bush. Well, if Jeb Bush was easily beat in every liberal poll out there against Hillary, then why the hell would we want Jeb Bush as our nominee? Oh, he's your best chance. Oh, but he's going to lose. But he's still your best chance. So in other words, they were trying to tell us that it doesn't matter who you throw up there because Hillary is just so powerful, so strong, and so wonderful that she's going to beat anybody you got. And Jeb is your only chance, but he's not going to. Even he can't do it. Well, he doesn't even appear on this public policy polling survey to beat Hillary. But yet, and still, we're still hearing, well, Jeb is, from the left, we're hearing Jeb is probably your best bet. So in other words, they're telling us who they want as Hillary's opponent if Hillary is the nominee, because they can beat Jeb. But they're afraid of many of the other Democratic contenders because they can beat Hillary. Or excuse me, the Republican contenders. Because they can beat Hillary. They can beat her down. Now, the results are likely to be of particular concern to Democrats, like I said. So other polls are also showing Clinton well ahead in Iowa of her rivals for the Democratic nomination. But the new survey is likely to add to the sense that Clinton could be vulnerable in a general election battle. Well, could be. Did they just... It could be? How about she's already vulnerable? And that if we actually had an administration that was interested in a Department of Justice that was actually interested in justice, she wouldn't even make it to the November election because she'd be indicted and on trial for or going to trial for crime, high crimes and misdemeanors. While she was Secretary of State, and that doesn't even include anything else that she possibly, could have been involved in before or after. Well, I mean the email server thing is really kind of after as well, but. So you got, and I'm thinking that if they've got those four, Rubio, Walker, Huckabee, and Carson, ahead of her in Iowa, I think that maybe Clinton's got some other problems as well. So we will have to see. But in any case, that sound means that we are out of time, and I will be back here next week because I have a speech tomorrow and some family business for the rest of the week. So until then, enjoy the best of Rod Show for the rest of the week. I'm Rod Eccles. It's been the Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.